All right, and then my wife's car. She called me, and she was on her way home, and all of a sudden she lost power steering, and it was saying check VSC system and check ABS system. The battery light was on, check engine light, ABS light, traction control light. I think that was all. I took a picture of the dash. But when she pulled in at this aftermarket Pioneer, it'll actually read codes and also have battery voltage. When she pulled into the driveway, she was just down the road. I told her to leave it running, and I came out, and the battery voltage was like 11.7 volts. And so I went under the hood, you know, had to check, make sure it wasn't overheating or anything. Alternator was turning, you know, the belt was still on, all that kind of stuff. Took the fuse box off, visually looked at the fuses. This is all with the car running, just the, you know, mainly the big fuses that you can see from up top. Make sure they were all good. But when I came back, all the dash lights were still on, but it was charging. And so I just let it run and pulled the codes, and it was a speed sensor code, a P0500. We're about to check and see if that's what's here again, and we will reset it. I'm gonna pull off somewhere, I think. We'll reset that code. But what I did is I just made note of it, reset that code, because the way it was acting, with what clued me to something else wrong was that the alternator wasn't turning. Why would a speed sensor code, you know, or a speed sensor cause the battery light to be on and the battery not, you know, the alternator not to be charging? So, but what could make sense is if there was some kind of electrical issue, it might throw a speed sensor code because of something else going on. So, reset that code, and I've been driving it, just kind of staying close to home just in case. And I should have been videoing it, but I left this up so I could see the battery voltage, because there's no amp gauge, volt gauge, or anything on this thing. But on the radio, I can see it. What I caught out of the corner of my eye right before everything went crazy on the dash again. Now, it's not as crazy as it was because I don't have a check ABS, and I do still have power steering, is it jumped to 18 volts, and then everything kind of went crazy. Check engine light went on, the speed VSC system right there popped up. It dropped to 14, then it dropped to 12, and then it came back up to 13.7. And so what I think is our voltage regulator on the alternator is going out, and it's spiking voltage, and when it does, it causes all kinds of chaos in the electrical system. It, you know, speed sensor, whatever, all of a sudden it you know, it freaks everything out because it sees this big voltage spike. So I'm curious if we're going to see that same P0500 code here. Now we're at a red light. Yeah, it's that P0500. Now, could that speed sensor be making things wonky? I don't think so. I think I feel like I said, I should have been videoing this. I feel like when it all went crazy, I think the speedometer dropped off. I think I lost the speedometer for a second, which I think will trigger that P500 code. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna pull up to this gas station, and I'm gonna see if I can catch this thing doing it again. So I'm gonna go on the same drive. I will record this time around, but we're gonna pull in this gas station. I'm gonna cut the engine off. We're gonna reset this code and see if we can make it do it again and catch it on camera, and I can show y'all what it did. And maybe this time we can also get it to drop out power steering, which it did not do this time. All right, so what you basically do here, you're gonna cut this off, cut the key back on, but don't start it. Wait for the radio to come back. Oh, I like this Pioneer. And then we're gonna hit OK. Wait a second. And cut my audio or cut my video off when I connected to CarPlay. But we're gonna swipe over here, car features. We got our gauges, but what we really want is our check engine. I've got 2 speed sensors that are bad. That's why they don't actually have 24 PSI. I'm gonna reset, reset. All right, check engine light. Should go off when we crank it up. And it is. I'm gonna lose video again when CarPlay connects. So we'll pick this back up when I'm driving. So we've got no check engine light. Dash all looks good. Of course, we got our TPMS there. Like I said, I gotta replace 2 speed sensors, or 2 TPMS sensors. I've just been holding out because I want to rotate the tires and make sure it's reporting correctly on which ones are bad. But anyway, all right, we're gonna go for a drive, and man, I don't know if I can. I'm gonna try to get y'all where you can maybe about like that. You can see the radio and the speedometer. Kind of want to catch the speedometer, that screen, and the radio all. So let's see what happens. Probably gonna chop some of this video out just so it's not so long. Y'all don't need to ride along with me for 30 minutes. When I look at that P0500 code, I see information on speedometer not working. That's why I kind of want to catch this again, because I feel pretty certain when it went wonky, I lost the speedometer for just a split second. I'm wondering if that's losing the speedometer triggered the P0500, not necessarily a speed sensor reporting correctly, or not reporting, but just because the speedometer dropped out because of the other issue that was going on. That, you know, the voltage spike caused the instrument cluster to freak out, causing the speedometer to drop, and then trigger that P0500, and then randomly, you know, other modules are unhappy with that voltage spike. You know, ABS, VSC is probably dropping out because of that P0500. I would have thought that ABS would have as well. I'm curious why we lose power steering. If that code was the cause of all the warnings and power steering not working, why didn't we lose power steering and ABS when we were driving it and that code triggered? That's what makes me think that the speed sensor is not the cause of the issues, because we've got different outcomes. And so I'm thinking we've got something else causing issues. Yeah, voltage is holding strong. Man, I don't think it's going to mess up. I mean, I've probably been driving it 45 minutes or so, maybe close to an hour. Gonna turn the power steering. Oh, we just lost alternator for a second. This thing does have electric power steering, if you were wondering. That's why. I guess I should have specified that when I was saying how alternator could cause the power steering to go out. Hey, look. We're not charging. We're about to throw a battery light, I think. Interesting. Try and get a little more load on it. I can't believe it hasn't thrown a battery light. And it's back. Well, I will say this. I've seen enough that I think I'm going to condemn the alternator based on the voltage we're seeing. When it acted crazy, I saw a voltage spike. So I think we can pretty confidently say all of our issues are from a regulator that is just going crazy. So I replaced the alternator, and it's been about a month. No issues. So definitely was our issue. I think, you know, that voltage spike, when it would spike, you know, it just caused everything to not be happy, and that was our issue. So crazy, pretty crazy issue. So y'all let me know tell me some of your crazy issues you've run across. I like to read about them. So we're going to end this here. Thanks for watching. Leave a comment down below, hit the like button, and subscribe for more.